Welcome back to TXT Track Time. The curtains are down on Carifta Games 2022, and it's kind of bittersweet for us here at TXT Track Time. Well, at least me. I was just getting into the meat of the matter, and already it's done, and I can't wait for the next competition. But for now, let's break down the final day, and in particular, Brianna Lyston's 200-meter run. Picking up from where she left off at Champs, Brianna Lyston once again dominated in the 200 meters, and we just love it. T, tell us about Brianna Lyston's imperious running style. I want you to go all the way back to Champs because we didn't cover it here on this platform, and then tell us what you saw at Carifta and tell us what is in store for this future phenom.
I mean, you rightly said it. We wouldn't be doing her any justice if we didn't go back and talk about her 200-meter performance at Champs. And, just her performance overall at Champs. She was absolutely phenomenal. But again, we're talking about the 200 meters, so let's dive into that. At Champs, Brianna Lyston ran 22.53 seconds in a negative 2.2 meters per second win. Absolutely fantastic. Demolishing Simone Face's record that previously stood at 22.71 seconds.
Again, for 18 long years. 18 years.
Absolutely fantastic. But the most fantastic thing that came out of that time for me was the fact that in dead win, guys, if she didn't have any assistance or nothing pushing her backwards, she would have ran 22.28 seconds. Now, just let that sink in for a second. 22.28 seconds. That's ridiculous. And of course, since we're talking about dead win, why not throw in the maximum win? If she ran at the maximum win, then that would have been 22.14 seconds. Again, I mean, that for me had to be the most amazing performance coming out of championship.
And you mentioned yesterday that the girls will be competing in the World Juniors in Cali, Colombia, which is high altitude. So we're expecting to see some fast times.
Fast times. And let me just talk about how she ran that 200 meters. Yesterday, I mentioned her running the bend here in the 4x1, looking like butter. Let me tell you something. Champs was butter times maybe 10. That had to be the best junior bend that I've ever seen an athlete run in the 200 meters. Notwithstanding, we had amazing athletes like Shawnee Miller-Weibo back in the day as a junior running fantastic times. But I don't recall somebody running a bend looking like this. It was absolutely amazing. For me, that's where she ran the race. As a matter of fact, I wish we could have gotten splits on it, because if we got splits on it, then we may have seen something like a 10-9, I'm guessing, around that bend. But anyway, absolutely fantastic at Champs. And then fast forward to Carifta, she came here and of course put on another show, winning gold again. This time around, she ran it in 23.16 seconds. But for me, that was another fantastic performance, given the amount of races she's done in the past week. Let's add them up. 3 in the 200 and 3 in the 100. So that makes it 6 right here. And then you have the 4x1 and the 4x4. That's 8 races right there. Then to come again and run 200s here and a 4x1 where they broke the record, I think she was just tired. I think she was running on tired legs, and that's fine. She'll get another chance. She'll get another opportunity. But she's just a fantastic athlete all around.
Right. Because as she was burning down the home stretch, her stride looked good, her running style. She didn't lose form, but she wasn't pushing like she pushed at Champs. So you can see that she was just doing enough to finish, get the job done and finish injury-free, winning in a good enough time, but not pushing herself unnecessarily, I would say. And
The
25.16 is
moment,
nothing to scoff about. So
nothing at
well
all.
done.
Well done. And the moment she got up out of the blocks, I could tell. Because the bench she ran at Champs was like, I don't know, magic. I didn't see that here. So I knew that coming off that bench, she would have more work to put in. And we could have seen her, we saw her taking it a bit more easy. So we're like, okay, the record is not going to go this time around, but still a fantastic performance. But the big question, Tom, I want to ask you, Brianna running 22.53 seconds into a negative wind of 2.2 meters per second, which, you like to talk about wind. So if we put that in dead wind, that's 22.28 seconds. Do you think she has a shot at the senior team making it and going to the World Championships at the 200 meters? That's the big
Wow.
question.
Wow, way to put me on the spot. What
Yes.
a question.
All right. Before you
Can I
answer,
park a question?
let me throw some stats out at you then before you answer. In 2021, after the top three, and top three being Elaine Thompson, Shelley, and Sharika, we had Natasha Morrison at 22.74 seconds, Kevona Davis at 22.78 seconds, and Ashanti Moore at 22.86 seconds. That's how the next best three looked after the top three. And and let's not forget the top three is below 22 seconds, obviously.
I would say it depends on what type of shape Shelley and Fraser Price turns up to trials in, and if she is going to even compete in the 200, because a lot rides on that. Shelley Ann is a championship performer, and I could see, and if she arrives at champs at the senior championships, in the shape of her life, she will make that team. But I'm not sure if Shelley and Fraser Price is going to push for the 1-2 this year. She is reaching the twilight of her career, so a lot rides on that. So we'll have to see what Shelley and Fraser Price is doing. I can only see Sherika Jackson getting stronger and stronger and better at the 200 meters. And currently, Elaine Thompson here is imperious. No one is beating her. So then it comes down to if Shelley Ann is going to the trials or not. See if Brianna can sneak in and get a berth. Who knows?
Glad you mentioned.
We're speaking about Brianna Lyston, not Brianna Williams. Imagine that.
Right. But I'm glad you mentioned Shelley, because again, my thought process when I thought of the question was that's barring on the possibility of Shelley not entering the 200 meters at all this year. So you heard it here from T. I don't know if Tom is still on the fence about it, but in my opinion, if Shelley is not entering that 200 meters, then Brianna has a solid shot, and that's Brianna Lyston has a solid shot at making the senior team. No, I also have a few other stats for you, right? So let's talk about the person that so far, because we can only talk about what we've seen so far this year, right? So far this year, the only two persons that I see contending with her would be Natalia White and Brianna Williams. If Brianna Williams decides to take the 200 meters seriously this year and also go for a spot, then she would also be a strong contender, and also Natalia White. So it won't be easy, obviously. Nobody's saying she's just going to roll over into the 200 meters and make the team. No, definitely not saying that. But with such a fantastic time, she can match up against them. And
even I don't so she can go for the experience, and you never know where that may take her.
Right. Definitely.
We saw Brian Lavelle. I just want to throw that out there. We saw Brian Lavelle last year go for the senior team, finishing 5th, I believe, or 6th. And for the
I think it was 6th.
Somewhere down the line, right? But he made the finals.
Yeah, he did.
Right. He made the finals, and he ran, he equaled his personal best at 10. I run that 10-2.
So yeah.
So I say go for it. Be fearless and go for it.
And the thing about it is not necessarily in her mind she'll be going to say, okay, I want a medal, but it's experience. We saw Usain Bolt back in the day. We sent him And by we, I meant Jamaica. The
We
administration
did.
sent him to these events so that he could get experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that when he got to the level where you saw in Beijing, or even before that in 2007, that he knew what was required of him on that stage.
And
So yeah,
remember, and there's one more thing. Remember that all season, at least the season thus far, Brianna has not been challenged on the 200 meters. She has not been pushed. So we do not know what is in store. We do
hmm,
not know what her capabilities are when it relates to the 200 meters. She has been imperious. She has dominated. So
yes.
there's so much more that could come out if she competes with the senior girls.
Senior girls that they can pull from her because they'll be pulling each other. And once you're in a race with somebody faster than you, you're going to be pulled to a faster time automatically.
Definitely.
So yes, I agree with you on that. She needs to, take that leap of faith. And I feel no that again, I said it yesterday, the junior competitions on the local scene are pretty much over. So now she has all the time to focus on herself and her personal achievements for the rest of this season. So her and her coach will be able to sit down and be like, okay, this is what we want to do, this is where we want to go. So I see her only getting faster. So if I have her at 22, if I have her 22.28 in dead wind, then what's she gonna run when I have her faster?
I'm so happy that Brianna Lyston is back. I'm just smiling thinking about her, and I'm so excited that she's back
I'm
to
happy.
form and running at her best. I
You
remember
know,
this was the
I'm happy. Not to cut you, but I remember Be Blessed was telling me in the comment section that I don't look happy. Be Blessed, and sister, me a struggle for talk. The smile not even on show. Anyway, continue.
okay, right. So you remember when the world media um, came to Jamaica to interview this little girl at the age of 12. There was so much promise there. And just to see her back on form, and she's only 17, living up to that promise that we all, expected her to deliver. And just to see her, back on form and delivering a la Merlin, Auntie, a la Elaine Thompson here. Every day I pick a different name, but I definitely see that type of talent sitting on those young shoulders.
Maybe even greater because at that age, Shelley and Elaine wouldn't have shown that kind of promise. So if
Right.
she's showing this promise from now, and remember, and I don't think she's tapped out because sometimes athletes get tapped out in champs. I don't think so. And it's funny to say that, but I think the injury, being injured for a few years, may have actually worked in her favor.
I'm going to throw another hard question at you since you gave me such a hard question. And it's World Juniors on that 200 meters that features Christine Boma, who still qualifies to run up the World Juniors. So if she chooses to go, she will be there. What are Brianna's odds in that 200 meter?
Well, quite a few people are gone.
I
I
was looking
think
at the
the only
stats. I
person
think
left are
Faber Ophelia
Masilingi.
has aged out.
Yeah, I
So
think the only
that's
persons left are Masilingi that were ahead of her. So
right.
remember, only three people were ahead of her. So in of all those people, I think I'm not sure if Masilingi's age, which is weird, but yeah, I think only Masilingi
And Boma, they're
and
still in
Bowman
the
are left.
running.
No, Bowman is just no. Bowman is not even in this conversation. She's in the level in the ranks of Shelly and Sherika. So we're not going to put her in this conversation.
Understandably. So there's
But there's a possibility of
to
her
medal.
defeating. No, not just the medal, but she could possibly defeat
Masilingi.
Mas- because if you look at Masalingi's personal best, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think it's either a 22-1 or a 22-2. So Brianna is not necessarily that far from it. And if you look at Masilingi's running last year, she stayed in and around the 22-4s, 22 towards 22-2s for most of the season. So if Brianna can get into that and run her best race at the championship, it's a possibility. She may find herself in silver. But I don't know if Boma is gonna go back to the world
She there was no reason to go last year and she was there.
I have
So
a few thoughts in my mind, but I'll keep that to myself.
yes. there was
But yeah,
absolutely there was absolutely no reason for her to be there
I
last year
think
and
it's
she
time she's
was.
not gonna go. I don't know. I to me it would. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. But as I said, she does stand a possibility of beating maybe
Masalingi has a
Lindy.
22:18. So
Right.
that will
So
be the target time.
that
And
would be
that's the time that she ran at World Juniors last year.
and don't forget that was also at altitude. So that time, even though it's her personal best, would have quote unquote some question marks because it's at altitude. So let's also throw Brianna Lyston this year at altitude and see what she comes up with. Because if she can come up with a 22.53, that, as I said, I keep repeating it, but I have to, which is 22.28 in dead wind, then what's she gonna come up with in altitude?
Right.
She stands a chance. So wow, so much things, so much fantastic things ahead of her. All we can do is hope that she remains healthy. And I don't, as a matter of fact, I don't want to put a cap on her. I don't
No.
want to put a cap on her. I'm just waiting to absorb all the greatness as it comes along.
Interestingly, Masalingi is 19. Let me see. Did she have a
She
recent
this
birthday? Oh, she did. She's born the 10th of April, so she does
she
qualify.
qualifies. She
She
qualifies.
qualifies for World Juniors again this year.
Mhm.
So we will see if we'll see her there.
They go, if they go, then obviously the person to aim for is Masilingi. Take her out, which is a possibility. I don't think
Yes.
Boma is a possibility. Boma already has the world lead. I think it's 22-12. So because previously Brianna had it and then she lost it to Boma. So yeah, I don't want her to aim for her. So if you're gonna try to take somebody out, you take out Masalingi.
Focus on her own race in her own lane and give it her
Yeah, but
all.
still you're going for you focus on your own race, but you're still going for glory. So you're still trying
Right.
to get the best medal you can get.
Right.
I don't want her to
So
take the approach a lot of athletes took when they were running against Usain Bolt. Okay, we're running against Usain Bolt. We're just gonna run for second and third. But what did you see when Christian Coleman came on the scene? Christian Coleman ran his own race and he went for glory, regardless of who was in the race. So that's pretty much what I want to do. I want her to do. Yes, I said forget Boma, but still go for the greatest honor that you can get for yourself.
for sure. So guys, that wraps up the Carifta Games and Brianna Liston's remarkable performances. Please remember to like our videos, engage in the comment section below,
Yeah, like
and
the videos, guys. Make that the first thing you do once you're watching. Like the video, and then you can continue. It's free. Help us.
as always,
Help you.
subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more track and field. This is a basic track season, and our athletes, seniors and juniors, are looking great. Male and female, they're
Yeah.
looking awesome. So stay tuned for more track coverage right here on TXT Track Time.
Auntie,
And I'm Tam.
we'll catch you in the